In today's show, continuing our season preview series, talking all things Shaedon Sharpe. What did he do in year 3 and ahead of a major summer entering year 4 of his NBA career? What's in store for Mr. Sharpe? Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen, coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Make it your first listen and tell your friends to do the same. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's program, we're continuing our season review series. Today's topic, all things Shaedon Sharpe. We will talk about what he did in year 3. We will visit with Michael from the past and what I thought about Shaedon Sharpe's best and worst case scenarios back when I recorded season previews in September. And we will look ahead to a major summer coming for Shaedon Sharpe. Undeniable that the money is involved. He is extension eligible this summer, and it is a big deal for him after his third NBA season. It is not make or break, but it is the first time that money will be part of the conversation for him in a meaningful, tangible way. That's what we'll do to close the show. Before we get to the cash, let's talk about what he did. Sharpe appeared in 72 games in his, I was going to say sophomore, but I guess it's his junior season. He played 31.3 minutes a night. He started 52 of those 72 games, and he averaged 18.5 points, 4.5 boards, 2.8 assists. Shot 45.2% from the floor, 31.1% from 3, and 78.5% from the free throw line. He averaged a career high, those 18.5 points. And his season started with him on the sidelines, on the mend. He missed the first 8 games of the season with a labral tear in his left shoulder. And then after a couple games coming back off the bench, when he was kind of feeling his way back into playing NBA basketball, he jumped into the starting lineup, and he became the Blazers' starting shooting guard, and he started the next 31 games. During that stretch, he scored 30. He topped the 30-point mark 6 times during this season, and he would do it twice early. Some mid-November games, back-to-back wins against Minnesota and Atlanta, where Sharpe flashed that immense offensive talent, and particularly that immense offensive talent that he clearly possesses, but it particularly seems to show up on nights where they need him to do more. Not just because he gets to shoot more, and shoot more means score more points, but because Sharpe seems to thrive when it's like the role is very clearly defined that he's going to be the ball-dominant, shot-dominant type of player. Many players thrive in that role, but particularly Sharpe with his skills has seemed to do his best when the sort of the slice of the pie is obviously bigger from the jump. Back-to-back 30-point games and wins over Minnesota and Atlanta in mid-November. And that was so early. That was the 5th and 6th game of Shaedon's season that it was like, maybe the guy we've been waiting for has arrived. There is a sort of old NBA adage that players, take this big jump in year 3. It's not universal, nor is it like specifically predictive. But when Sharpe had those games early in the season, it felt like, yeah, this dude can hoop, and he's hooping, and it's here, and it's arrived, and it's forever, and all of those things. But life has a way of getting away from us when we start to hold things to be certain. And Shaedon Sharpe's season was a reminder of that lack of certainty, because that was mid-November. And by the middle of January, Shaedon Sharpe was losing his job in the starting lineup. He was demoted to a bench role, relegated to a reserve, for what Chauncey Billups would explain was a lack of defensive focus and effort. He had, as was later reported by Jason Quick of The Athletic, implored Shaedon Sharpe in the prior weeks to please play more defense. You got to be more attentive off the ball. You have to play with focus and purpose on defense, or you're going to lose your spot. And Sharpe didn't respond right away. So then Chauncey had to play the card that he had left, which was to take him out of the starting lineup. And when he asked Sharpe to show him more and Sharpe didn't show him more, well, Sharpe got moved to a bench role for over a month. He didn't get back into the starting lineup until the last day of February, when an injury to Jeremy Grant opened an opportunity, opened a door for him. So, of course, what did Shaedon Sharpe do? He had 25, 4, and 5 in his first game back as the starting lineup. That's 25 points, 4 boards, and 5 assists. He'd actually, the previous night, had 36 points off the bench against the Wizards. He was rolling. But with Jeremy out, Sharpe got a chance to get back into that starting group, a spot that he had lost because the Blazers had, in conjunction with Shaedon Sharpe losing that spot in the starting lineup, the Blazers ripped off 10 of 11 wins. It was their most successful stretch of the season, albeit against a relatively soft group of teams. But if you win all of the games, even against the bad teams, that's what you're supposed to do. And the Blazers have been doing it and taking care of business. And the demotion of Sharpe, well, it did see him lose minutes. It didn't see a significant reduction in his playing time. He would drops from around 31 to around 27. And he was still getting his opportunities, albeit just in a slightly reduced role. But after he got back into that starting lineup the last day of February, he held on to it for the rest of the season. He started the final 21 games, and he closed loudly. Silly season or whatever, Shaedon Sharpe scored 30 points thrice in his final 5 games, including a career-high 37 at Utah. Now, that career-high 37 for me is slightly overshadowed by Shaedon Sharpe missing 3 out of 4 free throws down the stretch in regulation and the Blazers losing to the Jazz in somewhat mostly hilarious at that time of year fashion. But Sharpe was a couple made free throws away, and he's an 80% free throw shooter for his career. He's like a couple made free throws away from a 40-piece on the road in April. Again, it's silly season, but they don't make you give back the 40 points you scored. And Sharpe's season would end there. He did not play the final 2 games of the regular season as the Blazers were entering their conservative rest mode because they never really committed to tanking as they had in the past. Instead, they just said, yeah, cool, we're going to finish with the 9th best record in the NBA, or 9th worst record in the NBA, and that will be that. This was a good year for Shaedon Sharpe. Not a great one, not an excellent one, not even like a breakout, oh, this dude is going to be awesome one, but undoubtedly the best season of his career for me. I think if you look at the overall production, he's had career high in scoring, but he's had better rebounding years. He's had better assist years. He's had more efficient years when he's played different roles. But it's very different what he did in year 1, where he was an off-ball guy playing with Damian Lillard in the lineup, or in year 2 when he missed 50 games, but he had a huge stretch, maybe like a 20-game stretch, where he's just the guy playing a ton of minutes without a ton of NBA talent around him as the Blazers got really hurt in December, and then Shaedon Sharpe joined them, but he was the one who didn't come back. This was a different season for him, and a season where he was, the starting shooting guard, and then lost a spot for a month or 5 weeks, and then back into the starting role, and you saw the flashes. Shaedon Sharpe took steps forward. He. Like I said, not every single spot across the board, but if you watched him play this year, I think Shaedon Sharpe was the best version of him that we have seen. But the question isn't really whether he was the best version of him. That's what you kind of hope for young players, for guys Shaedon Sharpe's age. He'll turn 22 at the end of May. Sharpe, in some ways, there is maybe not undue, but unfair pressure on him to be the breakout piece, to be the guy that figures it out, to be the guy that solves the Blazers' problems in some ways. He has the highest ceiling of any of their prospects in terms of production. He's a dude who scored 18 points per game and kind of left you thinking yeah, he could be better. And I think that speaks to his talent level. It speaks to what you see. And I want to talk about that because he did make major strides, particularly as a rim finisher, but he also left some some things that you feel like just get a little bit better, and there's some meat on the bone for you, particularly 3-point shooting. Let's discuss those improvements, discuss the things that he hasn't done, hasn't taken major strides in the second segment. Plus, we'll visit with Michael from the past to talk about what I thought the best and worst case scenarios for Shaedon Sharpe were way back in September. As a way of looking forward, we'll briefly visit expectations from the past. Join me in that second segment, won't ya? First, though, let us talk about Fire TV. Look, Amazon's got good stuff cooking for you, because if you get a Fire Stick, you can turn it into an Xbox. Turn any TV into your gaming entertainment system with a Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console required. All you got to do is grab your paired controller and subscribe, or just sign in if you're already a member, to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. You can dive into hundreds of premium titles, from EA College Sports or EA Sports College Football to Call of Duty Black Ops to Avowed. And as easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Here's how it works. If you've got the Fire TV Stick and your 4K devices, you're probably already watching all of your streamers on there, but you can also play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost without buying a new console. If you already have a console, well, your Fire TV just can plug in somewhere else in your home and become another console, or you can take it on the road with you. So if all your little gamers are out in the world, it's much easier to travel with just the Fire TV Stick 4K device than it is your whole stinking console. If you're a hardcore gamer, this is a way to take it with you. If you're a casual gamer, this is a way to add more gaming to your life. And if you just want to have a little bit of fun and also be able to watch your streamers in 4K, your Netflixes and your Prime videos, what have you, well, why not check it out? Go to Amazon.com/FireTVLockedOn. That's Amazon.com/FireTVLockedOn to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, and Fire TV Cube. All right. So what I want to do here is I want to talk about best and worst case scenarios for Shaedon Sharpe that I set way back in September. When I do these preview shows, I do a preview for every player on the roster, and I try to set the polls. What is our best case scenario within reason and worst case scenario without injury? And quite frankly, Michael from the past set fairly high expectations for Shaedon Sharpe. I want to visit those expectations and then talk about what played out, because I think where we were way back in September really informs some of the ways we end up perceiving the season. So why not take it away, Michael from the past? What did you think way back in September about Shaedon Sharpe's year 3 before you'd seen him play a single game? The best case scenario looks like this. Sharpe can continue to have the ability to get his own mid-range jump shot off the bounce. He improves as a finisher, getting back to his rookie year levels in his third season, and his shooting from 3, he has the ability to shoot off the dribble. He's a catch and shoot guy. He can create his own shot at all 3 levels. He can play a little bit off the ball, and that his defense, which has been bad his first couple seasons in the league, starts to just a trend up towards league average. When we get to the end of the year, all of it has clicked such that this is the makings, the trappings of a multi-time perennial all-star type player. No small sample sizes, no rose-colored glasses. The best case scenario is 70 games where you freaking see it. And you say, like, well, he's averaging 24-4, and if he got a little bit more leash, he could pretty cleanly average 23-5-5. And if he gets a little bit stronger and a little bit smarter about how defenses are going to attack him, then the building blocks. The best case scenario is that when we get to the end of the season, we're not talking about 10 games his rookie season and 5 games his sophomore season. We're talking about 70 games in year 3 that are proof of concept. That's the best case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? It's that the undeniably tantalizing skill set never fully coalesces, and he remains inconsistent in his production, and what for me is the biggest question with Shaedon Sharpe is, can he remain aggressive off script? So there's going to be moments where it isn't Shaedon Sharpe on the ball, carte blanche to go get it. He's going to be off the ball, off script. And it's like, can you get the ball off script? Can you work the baseline and go get a bucket? Can you get it as a second side creator and still maintain your aggression? Or is it just, it's hard to, the worst case scenario is that it's hard for him to maintain the consistency of production when he isn't the guy, and because he can't earn the production as not the guy, he never graduates to the level to be capital T, capital G, the guy. I don't think there's a floor. Like Sharpe averaged 16, 5, and 3 last year. I think that's like his floor, right? Like I think that's his absolute floor. I think he's going to be like 17, 18, and 5 boards and 3 assists, right? I think that you can book it, and he has a chance to be much more than that. But I think you can just like put that down in pencil as kind of the floor. The worst case scenario is not necessarily the box score numbers. It's that he isn't consistently playing to his peak. Thank you, Michael from the past. I don't think you could say Shaedon Sharpe at his best case scenario. Trappings of a perennial all-star, I think that's too rich for what we saw in year 3. Certainly highly skilled. Certainly in the grand scheme capable of making that type of leap. But I don't think you could come to the end of this season and look at how hard it is to make the all-star team in the West and be honest with yourself and say, yeah, this dude's a perennial all-star. He's got the goods somewhere in there. The question is, how can he get into it? Sharpe got better this year, though. I don't think you can say that I think it's pretty clear that he avoided his worst case scenario. Maybe the pendulum swung there a little bit, but I think it landed in the middle, which is the point of doing your best and worst case scenarios. I will say, Michael from the past did nail Shaedon Sharpe's line for this season when I said that he was going to average something along the lines of, as a baseline, 18 points, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. He averaged 18.5 points, 4.5 boards, and 2.8 assists. Good job. I usually don't put numbers in there because I'm scared. That time I put numbers in there and I left in the edit because I got it right. That's right, I'm bragging. I do think Sharpe got better. The number one space he got better was as a finisher. He made real strides. His sophomore season, obviously cut short due to injury, but even when he played and was seemingly healthy before he knew he was hurt, it's like, and before he got hurt and before he came back, it's like he just left a lot of stuff at the rim where it was like, why doesn't he score more there? He's so athletic, he's so strong, he's so bouncy. He wasn't particularly off the dribble. He just was not as good a finisher. And year 1, his rookie season, so much of his rim finishing was assisted, right? And year 2, he was taking this leap to being unassisted, self-created rim attempts, and he was not nearly as good. But it felt like that was just like in some ways an anomaly, or at least something that was hard to explain, because you watch him play and it's like, what? He should be better at this. Like everything says about everything about watching him says he should be better at this, and then he just was way better in his 3rd season. Year 2, 54% at the rim, according to Cleaning the Glass. That's shots within 4 feet. In his 3rd NBA season, he took a leap to 71%, a career best 71% at the rim, on significantly more frequency than he had in terms of self-created looks. He got to the rim a little more his rookie year, but he just worked the baseline and dunked the ball off of passes. This was self-created attempts, that the unassisted numbers and the finishing went way up. He just got really a lot better at it. The second half of the season, he was one of the best finishers in the league. He was just in terms of rim finishing, he ranked up at a level that the players that are in his category are dudes who only dunk. They're 7-footers. They're big time finishers, right? And Sharpe was doing that as someone who gets himself to the rim on his own and scores. He took real strides there. But the dude just didn't make threes, and I think this is the trappings of an all-star, right? He just hasn't been a good shooter in his career yet. You thought he would be after his rookie season when he shot 36% from 3. And he struggled a little bit last year, shot 33% as a sophomore. But this year, huge uptick in volume. He jumped to taking over 10 a game in terms of on a per possession basis. His 3-point rate was higher his rookie season than it was in this most recent season in year 3. But in just terms of like his volume just went up a bunch, right? Like he took almost 500 threes this year, 472 threes. It's just like a massive uptick in volume. And he shot 31%. But it's not just that he shot 31%. Throughout Shaedon Sharpe's first 2 years in the league, there was this obvious trend. When he takes catch-and-shoot jumpers, he was north of 40% in each of his first 2 years. It's like a freaking really good catch-and-shoot shooter, and he struggled off the bounce. And I was like, well, just cut those out. Like, just take fewer catch-and-shoots, or fewer pull-ups and mostly catch-and-shoots. It's if you're going to be a star in the league, in the modern NBA, and be the size that Shaedon Sharpe is and the position he plays, you're going to have to take some pull-up threes, right? That's just like how the league works. Like shooting off the dribble is an elite skill for high-level players, et cetera, et cetera. But his first 2 years, he was great on catch and shoots and struggled on pull-ups. This season, he was terrible on catch and shoot threes too. He shot 31.3% on catch and shoot threes and 30.4% on pull-up threes. He took 233 catch and shoot jumpers from three. He took 237 pull-up threes. Basically identical numbers. We're talking 4 attempts across 70 games. That's the difference in four attempts across 70 games. 31% on the catch and shoot jumpers, 30% on pull-ups. He just struggled. I don't think mechanically there's necessarily anything wrong with it. Like sometimes he shoots a little bit flat. I will say that. Like sometimes they're a little bit flat, but like I just watched Kawhi Leonard take make something like 95% true shooting on only jump shots, and he shoots a really flat arc. Like Shaedon Sharpe's aesthetics have not caught up with his production. And at some point, that's going to be the thing that holds him back. The highest end outcomes for Shaedon Sharpe involve him being a good three-point shooter. Not awesome. He doesn't need to be Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or whatever, but he needs to be someone who flirts with league average and has stretches if he's going to like highest end outcomes where he's an above average shooter from three. Again, not 40%, but like if the league average hovers right around 36% every year, I think it was a little higher than that this year, but if it hovers right around 36%, he needs to be a 36% three-point shooter on the type of volume he takes, 10 per 100 possessions or whatever it is. If you're not into the 100 possessions in terms of per game, he's taken 6 per game, right? 6.6 per game. Good rim finisher, really good pull-up game, and leaves something to be desired as a three-point shooter. What I haven't talked about yet is all the other non-shooting stuff, and that's meaningful. I want to talk about that in the second segment, in the lens of how important this summer is for him. Shaedon Sharpe is eligible to sign a rookie contract extension this summer, entering your 4th year, coming off your rookie scale deal. You are extension eligible, and the Blazers and Shaedon Sharpe's people can negotiate. One way or another, we're going to talk about Shaedon Sharpe's bank account. It's going to come up, and I want to talk about how the money changes. Mostly what it changes is the framing, how we talk about Shaedon Sharpe as opposed to what we talk about with him. Join me in that third segment, won't you? First, though, I want to tell you that today's program is brought to you by Game Time. It's the spot. It's the spot to go buy last-minute tickets. If you want to buy tickets to, if you're close to an NBA playoff game, that's about as fun a building as you can get in to go watch basketball. I watched a bunch of NBA games tonight, or at least a full one and part of the end of 2 others. But the building's rocking. Go buy last-minute tickets on Game Time because it makes it fast and easy to get your playoff tickets. And even when demand is sky high, prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer. And last-minute ticket deals can see you saving as much as 60% off. That's a big old price reduction by being a procrastinator. But if you're in my area, maybe you're not going to go see NBA playoff games if you're in Portland area, but you can go see some footy. They got Timbers tickets, they got Thorns tickets. It's all right there, and when you're browsing the app, you're going to see all in pricing. You're going to see with no surprise fees at checkout. So what you see is what you pay. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the redemption code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond, and you are still listening to Locked On Blazers. Shaedon Sharpe is entering a contract extension summer. This is a meaningful summer for him. He's extension eligible. It wouldn't surprise anyone with half a brain if Shaedon Sharpe signs a contract north of $100 million. In part because the money's getting bigger. It just is. We're talking about a max contract. There's three types of maxes. We talk about them like there's only one, but there's actually three. There's 25%, 30%, and 35% of the salary cap. A 25% max next year is going to be about $38 million. Starting salary of $38 million. Shaedon Sharpe's not max money. It's not close. They won't talk about it. That's not a number that will come up. They will not say those three letters in conjunction with each other. They're going to be talking about a much lower number. But even if he signs for $25 million, that's like 15% of the cap. Starter money is in that 15 to 20% range. Star money is above that, but like starter money is roughly 20% of the cap. Like, I think that's a good way to think about it. But like $27 million, which is roughly what Anfernee Simons will make next season. We haven't finalized the cap, but that's under 20% of the cap. It's 18% roughly projected wise. That's what I'm talking about. Shaedon Sharpe's going to make $100 million because if he makes $25 million a year, that's starter money. That's normal starter money. The number's about to get bonkers. No one will be surprised if Shaedon Sharpe signs a contract that's like 4 for $125. Whoo, boy, that will seem like a lot of money. But what will change if he does sign a big old contract is not necessarily Sharpe's game. Like, you hope that he takes the leap or whatever. You hope that he gets better. That's, I guess, what you're always rooting for with guys. But like, what will change is how we talk about him. If Shaedon Sharpe gets paid this summer, every time he has a good game or a bad game, the way that people with microphones and access to comment sections, they'll spend a lot of airspace or typing energy talking about, and I'm including myself in this, talking about whether Sharpe is, because the money won't kick in next season. If he signs a contract, it'll kick in the following season. It'll talk about whether Shaedon Sharpe's, he's so underpaid, I can't believe they got him on this deal, or it's like, wow, $28 million for this, or whatever. What changes is the framing. And if Shaedon Sharpe doesn't sign a contract, there's no real risk for the Blazers if they don't agree to a contract with Shaedon Sharpe. Say Shaedon Sharpe says, $25 million is starter money, and I'm going to play better than starter money. I'm going to be a plus starter, if not more, and I'm going to prove it in year 4. I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to go out there and earn that $30+ million, $35 million contract, right? He'll be a restricted free agent the following year. The Blazers will be able to match any contract they want. They'll have his bird rights. They can go over the salary cap to pay him. They can. There is no flight risk with Sharpe, right? There's no flight risk with Sharpe. I think people talk about rookie contracts in a weird way. There's no flight risk with him. If they want him on the team, they have every mechanism to keep him on the team. They can either give him a bunch of money now, then give him a bunch of money later, and there's really no way he can leave because restricted free agency isn't free agency. So if Shaedon Sharpe gets this paid this summer, we're going to talk about, he's, underpaid, overpaid, whatever. That's going to be the framing, the way we talk about him. And if he doesn't get paid, the framing is going to be, he's earning his money, price has gone up. Or it's going to be like, he should have taken that money early, right? Like, it's going to be reportedly he turned down $120 million. I can't believe it because, boy, he's not quote unquote worth that now. What will change with Sharpe is the framing. It will change. What changes with Sharpe's bank account will be us, and you hope him. But what will really change first and foremost is us. We'll be doing a lot of what I believe Bomani Jones calls pocket peeping. It's impossible to avoid pocket peeping to some extent. I try not to do it too much on the show. Instead of talking about what I think Sharpe's worth, Because I think like 4 for $1.25. That's $125 million would be like very, very much a believable type of deal. Probably a lot. I think south of that would probably be more reasonable. But like the difference for me and what I would want to see from Shaedon Sharpe is obviously the shooting. But I haven't mentioned the secondary stuff. And I think that's what will set Shaedon Sharpe apart as a player. The end of the year, when he got benched by Chauncey Billups, I think one of the best ways he responded was there was this thing early in Sharpe's career was like whether he was going to be aggressive. I mentioned it in the best and worst case scenario. Michael from the past did was like, whether he could be aggressive off script. And what I mean by that is like when plays aren't called for him, and when he's not the guy who gets the ball and gets to go, can he be aggressive? I think they kind of got that out of him. I think they did coax out that always aggressive. The problem with him when he struggled in the second half of this particular season was accuracy, right? And it was the secondary stuff. And it was decision making. Let's talk about all of that briefly to close the show. The secondary stuff, I mean, is like Sharpe, there were nights when it's like, well, he has 18, 2, and 2. And it's like, he just needs to do more. He's such a good athlete. He's so strong on offense with the ball. It's like, use that strength to be a good rebounder. I don't think he's a great passer by any means. I don't think he's even a good passer. I would call him a slightly below average passer. But I do think he's improved a great deal as a playmaker in his career. I think he's taken some real strides. And every so often, he makes these passes that you're like, dog, why don't you do that more often? It's in there somewhere. Some of it is just processing, right? It's like every so often he makes like a drop-off pass or he swings it to the opposite corner, and it's like, he doesn't do that very much. I wish he did that more. His steal rates and block rates are low. If Shaedon Sharpe never materializes as a high-level shooter, which is a real thing 3 seasons into his career, there's a chance that he's just never an above-average shooter. He's always a below-average shooter. The thing that will allow him to be totally functional is, 1, great finisher at the rim, gets to his spots, really good mid-range shooter. And 2, is the secondary stuff. Like, he'll be able to score in other ways, and as a rebounder, a playmaker, a guy who blocks shots from time to time, who gets steals from time to time, it's the secondary stuff. That's what will set him apart. And I think the other thing that will allow him to be a little bit better, even if the 3-point shooting, the thing that has been that it like remains sort of the I would call it the glass ceiling, but it's probably a little firmer than that. It's like it's whatever. It's like that glass that backboards are made of. It's that non-shatter glass, right? Because it's not going to be that easy to break through it. It's a decision making. Even if he doesn't make threes, if he takes smarter shots, that mitigates some of it. Some of the things that I like that Shaedon Sharpe takes mid-range jumpers. I know the Blazers in general tried to sort of eschew some of that, but like you see the guys who are self-creators in Ant and Shaedon Sharpe, they take mid-range jump shots because it's not like the analytics department comes and yanks you off the court if you like take a 17-footer. What they're saying is like, we're a rim team and we're a 3-point team, and like, if you're good from the mid-range, take it, but we're not going to throw the ball into the post at Jeremy Grant at 19 feet, where at best case scenario, he takes a 14-footer, and worst case scenario, he takes a 21-footer. That's kind of what they're cutting out there. But like, I like that Sharpe takes middies because that's the variety that you need. But the thing for me is the decision-making. Sometimes against a switch, he'll get a switch, and instead of attacking a big guy, getting to the rim, getting fouled, being aggressive, or even just like getting to a 17-footer that's clean, he will take a step back 3 because he knows he can get a 3 off against somebody slow. Or he'll take a mid-range jumper over when he gets a smaller, less talented defender on him when he put that dude in the locker. The thing that's going to allow Shaedon Sharpe to improve as a player and be a legend at the bank is that decision-making, and it's the secondary stuff. And yeah, it'll eventually be the 3-point shooting. But I think there is a world in which Shaedon Sharpe checks a couple other boxes while still being a below-average 3-point shooter and ends up a really good player. But it's hard to be a bad shooter who doesn't do the secondary stuff. You kind of have to pick. And that's the challenge for Sharpe. As he continues to grow, he's immensely talented on offense. Like he's immensely talented. He scored a pretty easy 18.5 this year. It is easy to imagine him jumping up to like 23 a game next season, depending on his role. Easy, right? Like that is a very easy thing to envision. A little more, bigger slice of the pie, a little more accuracy. gets to the free throw line a little more often. Bing, bang, boom. He averaged from the end of February to the end of the season, he averaged 21.5 a game, right? It's pretty easy to see him easily churning out that type of production. But the thing that will take Shaedon Sharpe to the next level and allow him to be that guy who is, in the conversation for all-star teams and in the conversation for getting a whole big old Brinks truck backed up to his house is the secondary stuff. It's the good, smart decision-making. You do those things consistently, you're a really stinking good player because Sharpe has skills to do it. The question is, can he add a little more to his bag, and can he play the high notes more consistently? How often can he hit his peaks? Because the peaks are pretty damn impressive. That is going to do it for today's program. Come back for tomorrow's show where Jake Madison of Locked On Pelicans is going to join me, and we are going to talk about a young man who attended college in Durham, North Carolina, and one time broke his shoe while a president was watching. Some of you will know who that is. Others will have to tune in tomorrow. Do that for me. Tell your friends about the program 5 days a week, wherever they get podcasts, also on YouTube. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.